Hi everyone, thank you for joining today's episode of RCR TV's 5-Bar Reviews, where we spend Friday afternoon sitting around having a beer and reviewing all things wireless. On today's show, we are reviewing the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge and the Samsung Note 5.
I'm also going to be reviewing this Goose Island IPA, which is, first sip, delicious, bold, hoppy, crisp on the palate. What do you got?
I've got the Austin Beerworks Fire Eagle American IPA. This brewery is actually, I'd say, about a block from our office here. Yep. Great guys, great beer. Highly recommend it if you can get it anywhere else in the country.
All right, so Kyle, this past week I've been playing with the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge.
Yeah.
I got to go to the unboxing event for this in Barcelona, co-located with Mobile World Congress back in February, and that was before it actually went into production, but a really sleek device, and I've been eager to get my hands on it. Obviously, the big draw here is this Edge display, which is a pretty cool feature. I'm not going to go so far as to say it's game-changing, but it's a very interesting novelty, and it does have some functional use.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen the kind of curved display. I think LG was one of the first ones out there, and Samsung seems to have really taken that ball and run with it.
Yeah, and so basically what you do here to activate your Edge display is start on the outside of the screen and swipe over. And then what you get there is a panel with whichever apps you select to be featured there.
So you can customize that?
Yeah, you can link whatever you use the most. I've got Chrome, Facebook, Waze, and Gmail over here, and the apps that you choose to live on the Edge menu will also automatically push notifications to the Edge when the screen is off. So that's pretty cool. And then you swipe one more time, and you've got your most frequent contacts there, so you can do some pretty quick calling, that's nice. And all in all, like I said, it's not game-changing, but it is useful, and it's a great look to it. The aesthetics of the phone are really nice, and I'd say the other thing that I thought was really very nice about this phone is the quality of the pictures and the videos. I've got the specs here somewhere. We've got a primary camera at 16 megapixels, so nice. A lot of horsepower there, and it's got a pretty cool launch where you can double tap the home button and then you're automatically at your camera. And for purposes of selfies, it's got a great feature where you can use your hand to activate the camera. Pretty neat. So tell me a little bit about that Note 5. That's a big boy.
Yeah, so I got to spend some time with the Galaxy Note 5. To be completely honest, when the phablets first hit the market, I was not a fan at all. A little too bulky for my size, and really just did not fit the practicality of my regular use. But I see their place in the marketplace. Obviously, going from the 2G to 3G. 2G and 3G infrastructure, moving to the 4G system, where the shift is now on content and video.
I think like 58% of all data traffic is video.
That's today. I mean, what's that going to be a year from now? Probably 75,
More useless information. In the last 18 months, humans have created the equivalent amount of data as they had in the entirety of history.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually fascinating.
It's another show, though.
Yeah, we'll get into that some other time. But honestly, like playing around with this thing, I honestly did like it. The form factor is not that bad. It's got a good, healthy weight to it. I want to say it's heavy at any means, but I'm not afraid of breaking it. Yeah. I've played around with the iPhone S Plus, and honestly, that thing's bulky.
It doesn't fit in your pocket correctly.
Not at all. Not at all. This one I can actually put in my pocket. I prefer to have something a little smaller, but I mean, if you put them side by side, they're really not that much.
Slightly wider, I guess.
Slightly, right? Yeah. That's a little sleeker, I would say. This one is a little thicker on the body. But it's a great, I had a great experience with it. This one comes in 32 and 64 gigabits. This one's actually the 32. Has multi-touch built in. It's about 6 ounces, as I said. It has a quad-core Exynos 7420 processor. Like the Samsung, I believe it's the same camera. It's got a 16 megapixel rear-facing camera, 5 megapixel front-facing. Has full 1080 and 4K filming capability. I believe you can only view up to 1080, and you can't actually view 4K on this, but it can record it. As for the Wi-Fi chip, it's 802.11 AB, GN, AC, dual band, supports Wi-Fi calling. I've read online that it also supports VoLTE or Voice over LTE. However, I was not able to find that setting on the phone. Could have been the particular network I was on at the time.
Yeah, I think both of these. I know mine is on T-Mobile's network.
Yeah, this one is as well.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they have VoLTE Live in Austin.
Not in Austin. Yeah, that's true. They don't. I know they have it in other places of the country, but
You mentioned the Wi-Fi there, the 802.11, which turned 25 a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it did, didn't
it? Doesn't it do like a aggregation of Wi-Fi and LTE when you're doing sizable downloads or like big content streams?
yeah. So it actually has. What's the name of that? They have it something. The download booster, they call it.
There you go.
So what it can actually do is it can use both simultaneously Wi-Fi and LTE for any file greater than 30 megapixel or megabytes to download it at an accelerated speed. I honestly did not download anything greater than 30 megabytes, but it is a great feature for those, especially for a device that's so focused on content.
Yeah, that'd be great when you're like about to hop on an airplane and need to download some shows real quick or something. You really can speed it along. And yeah, I wanted to ask, I thought this thing had a stylus, but I don't see
Oh
it
yeah.
anywhere.
So the fancy S Pen, yeah, it actually sticks in right at the bottom there. You just hit it, pop out, and what that does, it actually automatically launches the Air Command, which gives you a lot of different features as far as taking memos, taking notes, smart selecting objects such as images and text. Honestly, on phones, I haven't been all about using the stylus. Not much for my needs, but it is pretty great, especially for quick notes. Despite being in the wireless world, I do take a lot of written notes, as you do too, Sean. So it is nice for quick memos, sketches, stuff like that. I think it's cool to have the stylus. I'm not really a heavy user of it. If you are, I would say it's a pretty sleek feature. And then, of course, the way it conceals right in there and auto launches the menu like the Edge does there.
And it's also worth pointing out that both of these phones support Samsung Pay, which went active in the U.S. market earlier this week, and it's been live in South Korea for about 2 months, I think. They've already processed like 30 million in transactions over Samsung
In just
Pay.
Korea?
But in just South Korea.
Huh.
I got it installed on this phone. It's if you're familiar with Android Pay, Apple Pay, generally same process. You input your card information, then you activate it as you're getting ready to pay, and then the NFC chip, you just tap it to the sensor on the, I don't know what you call the debit card reader, the payment mechanism. And I mean, it does have some inherent limitations. I think they're only partnered up with T-Mobile, Sprint, and AT&T. Verizon's not supporting it just yet for whatever reason, although that might change in the near future. It's still, like I said, just launched a few days ago. And then the other limitation comes in with the banking. I think they're only set up with U.S. Bank, Citi, and Bank of America, so you need to have sort of a specific combination of bank, and it also helps to live in an urban area where they actually have the things. I think in Austin, they have them at all the Targets, all the Walmarts, and all of the Walgreens. But beyond that, I don't really see them that often.
I know for this one, when I was doing the research on it, the Vera system, VERI, I forget the full name of the credit card machine, they have some integration. And there's certain newer ones that don't actually use NFC. It's a newer, different technology and different chip.
Oh, yeah, like it mimics the magnetic swipe, but it doesn't record the information, right? It just leaves like a template to complete the transaction and then actually interacts with your bank account later over a secure channel. I think
exactly. I think it's very interesting, especially with Apple Pay and how this is going to work into security for the banking industry.
The more stuff you put chips in, the more security problems you have.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, speaking of chips, I also want to point out the quad-core processor on this thing, 3 gigs of RAM. It's pretty powerful. I like to keep a lot of apps open running in the background. It supports that very nicely. There's none of that like latency when you switch back to an app that's been sitting there running for a while. It automatically gets back to where it was. So that was all very nice. Got a fingerprint sensor in here. That's a 5.1-inch display. And then I think really for me, this isn't enough to win me over from Apple. But that's a bit of a loaded statement because I've been using iPhones for like 8 years, and I'm probably not gonna stop using them at this point.
All right, for mine, I think it has the same chip. If not, it's very similar to the quad core. Yeah. I played around with the camera a lot. There's a lot of great features on the camera.
Cheese on that one?
Yeah, exactly. So if you want, you can just go cheese. and it takes the photo. There's other commands. I think you can even program some. It has a lot of sort of novelty on the camera things. One thing I do like for any of the more professional photographers out there, you can actually save raw files on this for full high quality. It's easy to change the size and aspect ratio of the photos. The voice controlled picture taking. It has a native built-in ability to actually stream live video, which I thought was pretty cool. I know iPhone you can download certain apps to do that, but this one it's actually built in natively. You have full control over the camera ISO and white balance, which is something I haven't seen too many phones offering right there. It's got another thing called the virtual shot you can play with, and you can actually set it and then move it around there, whatever your object is, and then you can actually control that 360 view as far as how you want to look at it. I also have a Samsung point and shoot at home, which it's great for capturing quick moments. It actually has a lot of features of that built right in, which I think is great. If you can get, you know, the full-fledged camera and then the phone as well, great. Still doesn't have the power zoom like it does on the app, but I mean the zoom's on it's pretty good, I would say. And the other thing about the phone I can say is it's the operating system, obviously coming from an iPhone thing, there's different things I've noticed about the OS. There's a lot of built-in tools to kind of help you around, like, hey, what's this do, or what's this feature? There's really good information on the phone to kind of keep you in the loop on whatever this new feature is. The music, it has a single speaker on it. The music actually sounded really good playing from the speaker. I honestly have not tested the new iPhone 6s yet, but I for the play audio on that, but the sound was pretty good, I would say. I did play around with connecting to my TV and computers using the Chromecast feature. It was great. It's also using the new Chromecast version app that just came out this week, so I was able to stream Spotify seamlessly to my TV and my audio system. I will say there was some choppiness as far as connection. I also have, for my iPhone, I have the Airport Express hooked up to my system, where that plays, I would say, somewhat more seamlessly. There was some interference, it seems, when I was playing to the Chromecast using Spotify. But overall, the battery life, you know, it says it has a great battery life. In my time, I spent about 2 hours with it consistently, normal use, and it dropped me about 35% in that time. Yeah. At that time I was also streaming a lot of video, a lot of music, so I mean that is a pretty big drain on the battery.
Yeah, on this one I'm an obnoxious cell phone person. I'm the guy that's always doing this, playing on Reddit, watching YouTube videos, and I got a full day of heavy use out of it.
That's pretty impressive.
It was at 100% and very nearly dead when I was done, but I did use it all day.
Nice. From
the time that I left my house, went out 12 hours later, worked the whole time. So that was good, but it wasn't, earth-shattering or anything, but I pretty heavy drain on batteries, so I don't know if my perception is that accurate when it comes to what you can really do, because I was reading the specs on this thing and it said 50 hours of talk. Something. Well, 50 hours, I got like 20% of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? How many bars?
Overall, I liked it quite a bit. It feels much better in my hand than the iPhone, honestly. The sheer speed of the phone, the form factor I really liked. The multitasking was great on it. I didn't mention this, but you can do split screen. That's something I haven't seen the iPhone do, and actually it still performs top speed. The stylus is a great touch, but for me it's more of a novelty. It doesn't really work into my day-to-day. But honestly, when it comes down to stylus-equipped phablets out there, I haven't seen anything better. I've tested maybe 3, 4. So honestly, I'd have to give it a 4-bar review.
4 bars.
Yeah, pretty close to a 5. I wanted to give it a 5, but not quite there. There were a couple issues. The battery, I feel, had some issues. But when it comes down to it, yes, I've been in the iPhone game pretty long myself, but I've been thinking about doing the Samsung thing, and this actually makes me think a little more about making the switch. I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'm not quite up for an upgrade on my phone plan yet. Verizon wants to help me out with that. I'll take it, but I don't know. I could make the switch. I'll give it a solid 4 bars. More time, I could possibly send it to a 5.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna cut the suspense. I'm gonna give mine a 4-bar review as well.
Okay.
Part of that's because I'm not sure if we are giving out half-bar reviews.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, do it.
I'm gonna give this a 4.5 bar
Oh.
review. I am not going to switch to a Samsung device, but this is a gorgeous phone and it works beautifully and it looks great. So it's a really nice design on this thing, but I'm in the Apple game at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of it, especially when we have
All the computers,
Mac
and everything
computers.
else. Yeah, it's a whole thing, you know.
I'm thinking about making a purchase of the Samsung TV, and maybe that'll be easier to step into that ecosystem. But that's unfortunate with where we're at today. I mean, once you kind of get locked into one ecosystem, you're kind of there.
But they're really nice devices,
Yeah.
and for people that are Android users, I mean, this thing's top of the line. I definitely encourage you to get one. I think they retail for $695, devoid of contract or anything. But obviously, your carrier will have a promotional deal on that to get you in a lot under that price.
Yeah.
So, Samsung Edge 6, 4.5 bars.
Galaxy Note 5. I said 4 bars, but I'll give it 4.5. I mean,
4.5,
if we're doing half bars, let's do it.
What about Fire Eagle?
I like it. It's not my number one, but it's always a good go-to, especially in the Austin area. You can get this almost anywhere. And if you're an IPA guy, it's a safe bet. So I'd give it 4 bars out of 5.
Yeah, this is this is excellent. This Goose Island, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 as well. It's a little hoppier than I like, but still very good. Go pick one of those up. Go pick a Samsung Edge 6 up. You'd be all set.
Great. So for RCR TV's 5-bar reviews, I'm Kyle Welch.
I'm Sean Kinney. Thanks for joining us.
And if anyone has any devices you'd like to see us review, please email at kwelch@rcrwireless.com.
Same goes for beer, liquor, wine, too.